Hi everybody, welcome to your Tuesday evening Facebook Live. It has been a little over a week since I've been able to do a live. My husband and I were on vacation for a week, so I totally missed coming live to you guys and showing you fun new cute projects. So I'm just going to chit chat for a second until the newsfeed logs on to the Facebook logs on to people's newsfeed that I am live. Whew, that was a hot mess. But anyway, welcome. Hopefully you guys have had a great day. I can't complain. I did make some dinners because my husband's having surgery on Thursday. So I prepped a couple extra dinners for the next couple days. So yeah, welcome everybody. Hello, Heather. You're the first one on, or you're the first one that has said hello. So if you're on, please type hello or give me thumbs up so I know I'm live. I did have a little bit of technical difficulties. My computer decided to reboot after I logged everything in that we were doing today in the dimensions. So there aren't any dimensions yet, but once we get off the live, I will put them on. And so yeah, anyway, good evening everybody. Hello Monique, Jane, Bev, Anna, hello. So did you guys realize that the mini catalog is still current? I know we've been focusing a lot on the new catalog that just came out, the big catalog, but the mini catalog is still current. So I wanted to do, I typed this all up originally, but it is not there. So I don't know if it's going to show up right now, but I'm going to show you guys how to do a Sunburst card. It's easy, but you just have to remember to do a couple steps that might be a little challenging, but hopefully I remember them to tell you guys how to put it together. I think it's good. I've made a couple of them. So let me flip you over and I will show you. So this is the mini catalog. It is still current. Oh, and I did forget to tell you. So my beautiful nails, as I was doing dinner, I had to wait like 15 minutes while it cooked. So I decided to take some of my nail polish off, but then I thought I'd have time to take the other hand off before the live, and I didn't. So now you get one hand polished, one hand not. So sorry about that, but they still look pretty. Okay, so this is the mini catalog that is still current. And I thought since Father's Day is coming up, why don't we play with, and I should have marked the page and I didn't. Where is it? There it is. So we are going to play with the Handsome Sweets. So we're using the Designer Series paper and we're going to be using the stamp set. I'm not going to pull out the dies for this card. So I'm using the Hope You Have a Happy Father's Day Handsome. But on the card we're going to be making, I'm going to chop the Handsome off because I'm making this for my son-in-law. And I don't really want to put Handsome on my son-in-law's, even though I'm sure my daughter thinks he's handsome and he's kind of handsome, but anyway, so that's what we're going to be using tonight. Let me bring in the card. So this was my original card that I did, and I did it out of the same Designer Series paper in the mini catalog. It's the ice cream set, and I did this one as a happy birthday. And on the one we're going to be making tonight is going to be this one. And I sponged the edges on the outside of the sentiment because the sentiment was not centered. It's a little cattywampus. I actually don't even think you can tell it because I sponged the edges and it kind of took away from me not stamping that straight. So that is a little hint for you guys that you don't have to always stamp straight. You can sponge the edges and it looks perfect. So this is what I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create tonight. So let's get started. So you are going to need 8 pieces if you're using all of the Designer Series paper. So I'm actually going to show you a little bit different of a technique using the same dimensions. So these are 1.5 by 4, and I have 4 of those. So if you're going to do it exactly like the video, you're going to need 4 1.5 by 4 pieces. And then I'm going to bring in, this is a piece of basic white, and it's really just a scrap, but I think it is 5.25 by 4. But what we're going to do is we are going to stamp some circles on this, and that is going to be our second Designer Series paper. So this one I am going to use, but we're going to do little circles for these guys. So just gives it a little bit different of a dimension to it. So I have a sponge dauber, and I'm just going to ink this up. The ink I'm using is Pacific Point. So I'm just going to ink this up, and I'm just going to put pretty dark circles. And I want them kind of close together because we're going to cut this down. And you can go off the page, but I'm going to go ahead and do the full sheet, even though we just need the 1.5 pieces. I just want to make sure that we have enough. So I'm literally just taking this, pushing it down and giving it a little twist, and that's going to give me these little dots. I did try to find a stamp that had the dots, but I could not locate one. I know there's one out there, but for some reason it was not coming to me. So I'm just doing the little circles. Oops, that one got a little close, but that's okay. We're going to try to do these a little more random on this side. I know this probably is going to take the longest, but I promise you it's going to be super duper cute. So, if many of you are on my personal Facebook, I posted a picture of what I made for dinner for the next couple days. And as I was serving the chicken and dumplings, I didn't realize the salt shaker lid was not on properly. So when I went to salt our dish, it literally went all over our food. So needless to say, my chicken and dumplings did not turn out like they were supposed to. We ate what we could and kind of just filled up on garlic bread. But I was very, very sad because I love chicken and dumplings. Okay, so there is our polka dots. Let me kind of scooch you in a little bit. Maybe that will be a little bit better. Okay, so there's our polka dots. But before I bring my trimmer out, I thought I'd do all the cutting at one time. So I wanted to bring in, have you guys seen the adhesive sheets? Stampin' Up! Sells these. I think you get 12, and they're not very expensive, and they're full sheets. But it's double-sided, like sticky tape. It comes in the full sheet, so all you're going to do is peel it off, try to, and I'll show you why I'm actually using these once we get a little bit more into the project, because these guys are going to be your new best friend. So I'm literally just going to put this on the back, put that down, and I'm going to lay that back over and grab some scissors and just cut this off. There we go. Now we can pull the one side off that doesn't have the stickiness on. Now this, once you peel this, it is going to be all sticky on the back. And when you're using like the butterflies, this is really good to use because then you don't have to use the fine tip glue and get glue all over the place. Okay, so let's start with this since I already have it out. So you're going to grab your trimmer, and we want probably 7 or 8 tiny, tiny little strips. So you can do 1/8 of an inch, but what I did is I just put my paper right on this side of this cutting tool, and I just cut, well, I just cut little pieces. Sometimes you have to kind of start in the middle, and those are the tiny little pieces that we need. So you can go a little bit farther if you wanted to, but we only want like little 1/8 of an inch pieces. And you need probably 7 or 8 of them. My original card, I didn't do this on, so I hand glued all of these little tiny pieces on, and I did it, but I got glue everywhere. So even as gentle as I was, I still got glue. So I borrowed these from one of my friends. She had a full pack, so I actually just took them off of her hands to show you guys how much easier this is. So let me just cut 1 or 2 more. I don't know how many I cut because I was talking, and I can't count and talk at the same time. So we'll cut 1 more. There we go. That should be plenty. Now we have our polka dots. So what I want to do is I want to come in and cut them at 1 1/2 strips. So remember how I said you need 4 of the designer series paper? We're going to want 4 of these guys also. So there's 1, 2, well, it looks like we're only going to get 3, and it'll still work with 3. Okay. There we go. So while I still have the trimmer out, we are going to cut these polka dots. We're going to cut it from the left or the right corner to the left corner. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm just lining up the corners here, and I'm going to put my cutter in the center and cut forward and back. And this is what we're left with. So I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to do this to all of these guys. Just line that up, trim it, and we're going to do it one more time on this guy. There we go. Okay, so these guys are done. Now with the designer series paper, I'm actually going to cut 2 at the same time because the paper is a little bit thinner. So I'm going to line up the left corner with the right corner. So this is where I said it's a little tricky, but it is such a fun card to do that it is worth it. And it's just paper if you mess up, right? So set that down, and we're going to cut corner to corner. And then I'm going to set these guys off to the other side so I don't get them confused. So again, I'm going to put layer 2 of them together, and I'm going to cut corner to corner. And if you put your tool in the center, it cuts a little bit easier when you're doing diagonals. Okay, so that is all we need the cutting tool for. So I'll get rid of this. And I'm going to bring in another piece of our basic white, and then I'm going to bring in our silicone craft mats. This guy works amazing if you're doing things with lots of glue that you don't glue your whole surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of our designer series paper and then one of the polka dots. You want them back to back. You see how if I do it this way, it's a little, looks funny. So you want to start with them back to back. And we're just going to lay these up at the top. And it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom, which is fine, because on our original card, I put a little banner at the bottom. So you're not going to see the bottom. And if you don't want this banner, you're just going to make your designer series paper 1.5 by 5 1/4. So it'll be longer. So then what we want is another piece of designer series paper. And this one, you're just going to want to push up to the top so it covers that corner. Hopefully this is making sense. And then let's grab one of these pieces, and you're going to flip it on this side. I love the little polka dots. I think they turned out super cute. So this one we're going to do right there. Could you imagine doing all different colors with this set? So there's that one. And I like to just get an idea of what I'm doing before I glue everything down. So then there's that. There's this one. And then this one is going to go here. And this one, even though we're not going to see it, I am going to go ahead and put that guy there. So there we go. There is our Starburst. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this up and then put adhesive all over our cardstock. So I'm using the Stampin seal. You can use your green glue. That works as well. The green glue actually gives you a tiny bit more mobility if it's not quite straight. So my original one I did do using the green glue. So I'm going to line this up kind of as close to the center as I can. And I'm literally just going to put these guys on. And it's okay if there's a gap in between, because that's why we cut these little guys out, because this is going to go in the center. So this one, you just have to make sure you lift it up enough. Oops, don't stick. So it will cover that edge, that corner right here. There we go. It's pretty easy to put together once you get it all cut and laid out. So there we go. There's that side. And then I'm going to come over here, just make sure that top piece is covered, and do the same thing over here. Oh, it's sticking to my fingers. There we go. And one last piece. I'm just going to lay that one right there. Okay, so there is our Starburst. So now we're going to flip it over and trim off the excess off the back. I hope I'm not freezing up. Am I freezing up on you guys? I don't know if you can give me a thumbs up or if I'm not freezing, or tell me if I am freezing. Well, I don't see any comments. Okay, good. So I'm not freezing up. Okay, there we go. We're almost done. There we go. So look how cute that is. And this piece is blank, but we're going to cover that up. Okay, good. Thank you guys. So we can get rid of this. And remember how I told you that I will tell you why I put the self-adhesive stickies on the back of this is for this reason. Because these guys are super duper tiny, and it does work if you don't have them to use the green glue, but I was wearing a lot of the glue. So I'm just going to take this, my take your pick tool, peel off the back. Well, not that side. And sorry, my hands are peeling really bad too. I have no idea why. Maybe it's just the climate change or something. Okay, there we go. All else fails, use your fingernail. So we're going to peel that backing off, and the whole thing is now sticky. So I'm just going to come in, and I'm going to go off of it a little bit just so I make sure that it's going to be even and up at the very top. And we're just going to trim that off at the end. So this is probably the most time-consuming parts. And we're only making one, so we're taking our extra time. So peel the backing off, lay this up over the edge a little bit, and that is just going to make it so you know it is going to be at the very top. And I didn't press down here in the center very much, because once all of these guys are on, it does make this piece a little thick, so I just cut that off. So I don't know what's easier, using your fingernail or the take your pick tool. Let's try a fingernail that doesn't have polish on it. I'm really sorry about that. I know it looks silly, but I can't have polish at work, and I go back to work tomorrow. So I was trying to take it off so I don't get into trouble. So there we go. And I just ran out of time before coming live. There's that one. Actually, let's just put this one down here and up, because we have to cut them off anyways. This is probably the most time-consuming part of this card. But it is so stinking cute, we really had to do it. And I think it works out for being a perfect Father's Day card. It's definitely masculine. And my son-in-law, this is his first Father's Day. There we go. And this one, actually, I might be able to trim this off and use it down below. So trim that off, and let's see if this will work down here. Oh, I think it totally will. Let's flip it around though, because we're going to cover up most of this anyways. So just one more strip. So we didn't need all of the ones that I cut, but I'm actually glad I cut a little bit extra just to be safe. So this one I'm going to put right there. And I am going to trim this guy off to do on the bottom because we're not going to see very much of it, but I just want to have it there in case we see a little bit. Perfect. So now I can flip this over and trim these guys off. And I think it just gives it a little bit more dimension having the cardstock in between the pieces. There we go. And let me grab these little guys, cut them off, just because it makes it a little bit too bulky. Okay, there we go. So that is perfect. See how cute that is? I love it so far. Okay, so let's bring in, I have another piece of Pacific Point, and this one is 5 1/4 by 1 inch. And I brought in the little, I actually don't even know the name of it, but it's looks like little bricks or checks or I don't know. I forgot. We're going to line this up to the top line just so we know it's even. And I'm going to bring in the little mini embossing machine. This little super cute guy. Do many of you guys have the mini embossing machine yet? He is super duper cute. And I love that they tell you how to use it. So it says insert embossing folder hinge first. And it tells you you need number 4 and you need number 1. So I have number 1 and number 4. Oh, and I guess we need the plate and I forgot the plate. Oh, for the love of goodness. Okay, let's bring in the big embossing machine. Hopefully I have all my pieces for that guy here. One of these days, I will get it right. Okay, let's bring in the big embossing because I didn't bring all the pieces for the mini one. But I really wanted to use the mini one. Okay, so we have 1 and the bigger piece. Hopefully that's all we need for this guy. Otherwise, we might not be running this through. Let's see if this one works. Nope, we need the other piece. Oh, see, you guys aren't the only ones that struggle sometimes. The struggle is real. Okay, nope. Okay, had too many pieces in there. And now there's not enough. Oh my goodness. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. Oh, I do know. Sorry, we need this piece underneath it. I told you the struggle is real today. I think I'm still a little jet lagged. Okay, there we go. Now it's working. Okay, perfect. We got the embossing done. There we go. So now I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back. And I'm just using the seal. I'm not using the plus, I'm just using the regular seal. Gonna come down here and put this guy at the bottom. There we go. Let me squeeze you back in so you can see a little bit more. Super fun, right? I loved it. Okay, let me set that aside and I'm going to stamp in Pacific Point, the Happy Father's Day, and I'm actually just going to cut off the bottom edge where it says handsome. Not that I don't think my son-in-law's handsome, but that's more for my daughter to send him, not the mother-in-law. So I'm just going to bring in my little mini trimmer and give this a little bit of a haircut. So I want to cut a tiny bit off the edge. And there's no real specific measurements for this. I am just cutting so just the sentiment shows. Perfect. And let's do it this way. There we go. Have a happy Father's Day. That's exactly what I wanted. Nothing more, nothing less. So I am going to sponge the edges, even though it is pretty straight. I did like the sponge edge. So there we go. I'm going to flip this over and put some dimensionals on the back. Looks like I only have little, oh, there's my bigger ones. Make sure that's the right, yep. That was actually my scrap piece that I was doing the polka dots on the back. Take those guys off. I'm going to put this right there. And now we have our cardstock. And this one is 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it right in half at 5 1/2. So I'm going to fold that and give that a good, nice crease. And now we can attach our card base to it. So I'm literally just using the, oh, and I just ran out. Oh, it's a wonderful day, isn't it? Everything that could go wrong today has in the last like 10 minutes. But that's okay. We're still going to keep plugging along. So now I'm just going to center that. And hopefully I didn't put it on upside down. Nope, everything is good. There you go. So this one is using all designer series paper. And this one is using the little sponge dauber. This little sponge dauber to make the little circles, and a little different, but the same concept. And this one is the original one that I actually glued down with the Tombow. So these little pieces, I glued every one of those down, and it was definitely a moment. It still works. So if you don't have the adhesive sheets, you can still glue them down. These ones I made a tiny bit wider, and these ones it looks like I did kind of thin as well. So those adhesive sheets are pretty cool. So hopefully you guys can see all of those in the camera. They are something different, fun, and unique. And it's almost Father's Day, so we cannot forget to get our Father's Day cards out. I don't have a father to give one to, but I will give one to my husband and my son-in-law. So anyway, so sorry for all of my discombobulation. It's been a rough day, but I'm going to blame it on the jet lag. So anyway, I will be back on Thursday for another Facebook Live. If you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out. If not, I will see everybody on Thursday. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.